Chapter 1. What is government? From the homeless man on the street to the rich business owner in the mansion, the word government is common to the lips of all. Somehow we know government plays a crucial role in all aspects of our lives. Hence we blame all societal dysfunctions and problems on the government. To express our dissatisfaction, we normally accuse governing authorities of being incompetent, corrupt, greedy, power-hungry, and self-serving. The result is civil unrest in nearly all corners of the earth, which can be seen in the form of mass protests often erupting in violence and war. The search for a perfect government is the cause of all national and international tragic conflicts. But what is government? God's government of natural systems. All of you have to do is observe nature and you will realize one truth about God. He is highly orderly. His entire creation is intelligently ordered. The organization of the solar system, ecosystem, and even the complex yet intricately ordered design of the human body give away a God of precision. Somehow the sun knows to always arise in the east and set in the west. The systems of your body know how to cooperatively function together in an orderly manner for your well-being. These are just a few of the many wonders that confound atheist scientists that have often sought to postulate a no-God theory. For God is not a God of disorder but of peace, as in all the congregations of the Lord's people. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 33. But what entity permits these complex systems of nature to thrive for everything to be done decently and in order? The answer: government. It is God's inbuilt instructions or laws in these natural systems that ensure order and efficiency. The importance of government. Government is central to everything in life because government in the right form produces order, structure, stability, peace, protection, prosperity, guidance, health, purpose, and a host of many benefits. Just as all natural systems require government, virtually any entity with more than one person cannot function without proper government. Government is the glue that binds people or processes together. Where there is no proper government, there is confusion and chaos. The book of Judges records a time of chaos in the history of the Israelites when they had no king. The disorder was the direct result of the lack of proper government. In those days, Israel had no king. Everyone did as they saw fit. Judges chapter 21 verse 25. The need for governing laws. It is a requirement for any number of people sharing the same space or living together to have laws so that their rights as individuals and as a group are protected to ensure peace and harmony. Our unique personalities necessitate boundaries or governing laws in our relationships. For example, in many families, there may be written or unwritten laws that exist, especially for children. These laws are important for producing peace and order within the family, so that each member can operate effectively in their defined role as a member of the family. In most cases, failure to observe and respect such boundaries is the reason for many broken relationships. Peace is the foundation of prosperity. Because laws are significant for something as important as maintaining peace, there must be a leader responsible for ensuring that each individual complies with the laws. Definition and role of government. Wherever there are people, laws, and leaders, there is some form of government. Government is simply the control exercised over the actions of the members, citizens, or inhabitants of communities, societies, and states. Government has two main roles: to maintain peace and harmony, to orchestrate wise use of available resources to cater to the needs of the people, especially those disadvantaged within the community or state. These roles performed by government are so crucial that the lack of proper government inevitably breeds injustice, confusion, disorder, war, poverty, diseases and inefficiencies that affect nations, communities, families and individuals. This is why most political campaigns for the seat of government greatly emphasize and promise peace and prosperity to citizens. Forms of government. There are various forms of government. There is republic, socialism, monarchy, kingdom, democracy, Marxism, aristocracy, communism, totalitarianism, etc. But I will briefly explain the three forms that are most prevalent in our modern contemporary society and that are relevant to the theme of this book. Democratic government. Democracy is the most common form of government in our modern contemporary society. It originated from ancient Greece. The Greeks have a history of an era when they believed life started and ended with humans. It was known as the Age of Reason. They had little or no regard for the Most High God and basically made a God of their own intellect and reason. Consequently, they invented a form of government that would allow men to reason out and decide on the governing laws of their lives and elect leaders or officials by majority votes of the citizens. Democracy is simply the government of the people by the people. It is the rule of law decided on and passed by the majority votes of citizens. The economic structure of democracy. The economic structure of this form of government is known as capitalism. There are compulsory income deductions, taxes, by the government to support the community. However, this system is still not designed for the common good of the community of people. Capitalism greatly emphasizes personal pursuit and individual success. It inevitably creates a society with an uneven distribution of wealth. A common phrase in this form of government is the haves and the have-nots. The result is rampant competition, greed, fear, worry, competition, jealousy, envy, poverty, strife, prevalent in democratic societies. How a democratic government would work in your family. Let me apply this system of government on a small scale to the human family for clarity on its operation. It would mean equal rights for father, mother, and children. Therefore, in the case where there are more children in the family, by majority votes, the children can have some laws passed and implemented for their parents to comply with, or worse still, a child could be elected to lead the family. The great emphasis on individual responsibility would also mean that besides obligatory contributions from each member of the family for the common good, the family does not have to support each other if they don't want to. The father is not obligated to provide for his family, even if he has the capacity to do so. Communist government. Communism is a system of government pioneered by a man who also happened to be a humanist. Like the Greeks, Karl Marx had little or no regard for God, so again his invention places man in the center of government. A communist differs from a democratic society in that even though the people may elect the leaders, the appointed leaders decide the governing laws. The economic structure of communism. The economic structure of this form of government is designed to suit the community as a whole, but at the expense of individual rights. The wealth of individuals is compulsorily shared amongst the community of people. All property belongs to the state. There are no private ownership rights in this system of government. How a communist government would work in your family. A small-scale application of this form of government to the human family would mean that a child could be appointed the leader and would have the responsibility of making and enforcing family rules. Also, members of the family would have no individual ownership rights. The whole family shares all individual gains. Kingdom, monarchy, government. A kingdom government is a very different system from the two forms described above. In a kingdom, a king owns all property, including the people living in the country, territory. The king therefore holds the sole responsibility for making and enforcing all governing laws, as well as making all necessary provisions for the community of people. Unlike democracy or communism, citizens in a kingdom do not get to vote on who they want as leader or decide on any governing laws. The economic structure of a kingdom. A kingdom operates on a principle of access. Citizens have access to everything but own nothing because the king, who is also Lord, owns everything. The king has the sole responsibility of catering to the needs of all the citizens in his territory. Therefore, the wealth in a kingdom is common to all. Commonwealth is the economic system in a kingdom. The distinctive mark of a kingdom is that the only responsibility of the citizens is to obey the king, and the king, on the other hand, has the duty to make all necessary provisions for his people. How a kingdom government would work in your family. From a biblical and most cultural standpoint, the human family is an example of a kingdom government. It is the joy of every parent to have well-trained children that grow up to be responsible adults. This goal is only achievable through the control exercised in a kingdom government where the parents, acknowledged as source and providers, make and enforce all the major family laws or rules that would ensure the desired outcome. If God is our Father and we are His children as the Bible states, only a kingdom government can exist in the family relationship. Follow God's example, therefore, as dearly loved children, Ephesians chapter 5 verse 2. You can see why Jesus often made statements like, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous." Matt 5:44-45. Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Matthew chapter 5 verse 48. Is God interested in government? Why would a spiritual God be interested in a practical government of humans on earth? My answer to that is, if God is interested in your life, then he has to be interested in the government that oversees your life here on earth. You may not be aware, but laws passed by the government influence communities, families, and individual lives. Bear in mind that individuals constitute families that make up communities and form nations that are subject to laws passed by the government. For example, most Western countries have a law passed against disciplining a child with a rod when the Bible clearly commands, "Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you punish them with the rod, they will not die. Punish them with the rod and save them from death." Proverbs 23:13-14. In this situation, the role of parents as given by God is restrained by the worldly governments. Therefore, God's will concerning the development of children is impaired. I personally believe this contrary law largely contributes to the violence, crime, theft, and many immoral behavior in our societies. I hope you have been able to grasp in this opening chapter the importance and impact of government in our lives and why we need God's government in the lives of individuals, families, communities, nations, and the whole earth. Which form of government will depict God's own government? If God is interested in government of the earth, which one out of the three forms of government described will depict his form of government? Will it be a democratic government, which is founded on majority votes on laws and leaders by men, or a communist government that also centers on opinions, decisions, and laws of men? It is only logical that the creator, author, and designer of life, one who rightfully owns everything on this earth, adopts a kingdom system of government, which acknowledges him as the source of all provisions, and therefore allows him the rights to make and enforce all governing laws of our lives. As I previously stated, wherever there are people, laws, and leaders, there is some form of government. If worldly governments, whether a democratic or communist society, are made up of people living by man-made laws, then God's government is simply God's people living by God's will or laws. Does this sound like a description of the body of believers, the church? Key statements. Wherever there are people, laws, and leaders, there is some form of government. A government is simply the control exercised over the actions of the members, citizens, or inhabitants of communities, societies, and states. Government is central to everything in life because government in the right form produces order, structure, stability, peace, protection, prosperity, guidance, health, purpose, and a host of many benefits. God's inbuilt instructions or laws in natural systems are those that ensure order and efficiency. Where there is no proper government, there is confusion and chaos. The search for a perfect government is the cause of all national and international tragic conflicts. If God is our Father and we are his children as the Bible states, only a kingdom government can exist in the family relationship. It is only logical that the creator, author, and designer of life, one who rightfully owns everything on this earth, adopts a kingdom system of government, which acknowledges him as the source of all provisions, and therefore allows him the rights to make and enforce all governing laws of our lives.